What would you do if the husband who treated you like a ghost for 3 full years suddenly stormed into your date, eyes blazing with jealousy he never showed before? What if, after one night of raw confessions and a kiss that felt like 3 years of hunger finally breaking free, another man sat down at your lunch table the very next day, looked you dead in the eyes, and offered you everything your husband never did? Triple the money, a real title, a board seat, power, respect, freedom? All you have to do is divorce him. Walk away. Marry someone who sees your brilliance instead of hiding from it. Would you stay and risk your heart again, or finally choose yourself? If you rode with us through part 1, through the silence, the crash, the confession, that first electric kiss, thank you. Truly, every single view, like, comment, and share on part 1 is fuel for Afro KT Tales. It means the world, and it helps this story reach even more people who need to believe love can fight its way back from the ashes. Haven't seen part 1 yet? The full link is right in the description box below. Go watch it first so every twist in part 2 hits even harder. And if you're here but haven't subscribed, please hit that button right now and turn on the notifications bell, because trust me, you do not want to miss what happens when Ji-hoon finally says the 3 words Edioma waited 3 years to hear, and a dangerous rival tries to steal her future right out from under him. Let's jump into part 2. It's about to get explosive. Morning sunlight streamed through the unfamiliar windows of the master bedroom, warming the sheets tangled around Edioma's legs. She lay still for a long moment, letting reality settle. She was in son Ji-hoon's bed. Their bed now. His arm was banded possessively around her waist, his breath steady and warm against the back of her neck. They hadn't done anything beyond sleep. He'd kept his word about taking things slowly, but the simple intimacy of waking up wrapped in him felt more vulnerable than any desperate kiss the night before. "You're thinking too loud," Ji-hoon murmured, voice rough with sleep. "I'm just processing." His arm tightened, pulling her closer until her back pressed fully against his chest. "Process faster. I like having you here." Despite everything, a small smile curved her lips. This version of him, sleepy, unguarded, almost playful, felt like a secret she'd been allowed to witness for the first time. "I have a board meeting at 9, she said, glancing at the clock. 7:32 a.m. She still had time. "Cancel it." "No." He nuzzled her shoulder, lips brushing skin. "Worth a try." She turned in his arms to face him. Her breath caught again. She'd seen son Ji-hoon in $1,000 suits looking like danger personified. But like this, hair mussed, eyes soft and heavy-lidded, faint stubble shadowing his jaw. He was devastating in a completely different way. "Are you staring at me?" he asked, clearly amused. "You're in my personal space. I'm allowed to look." He leaned in, brushing a feather-light kiss across her forehead. "Then look all you want." It would be so easy to sink back into this warmth, to let herself believe everything had changed overnight. But 3 years of self-preservation had taught her caution. "We need to talk about what this actually means," she said quietly. "Last night was intense, but I need to know this isn't temporary. That you're not going to wake up next week and decide distance is safer again." His expression sobered instantly. "I told you. I know what you told me. But I need more than promises, Ji-hoon. I need to see it. Feel it. I need." She broke off, frustrated. "I need to know I matter more than your strategy. More than your need for control." "You do." He cupped her face, thumb tracing her cheekbone. "Prove it." The challenge hung between them. He studied her for a long moment, old habits of calculation flickering behind his eyes. Then, "Today," he said finally. "Breakfast together, not in separate rooms, actually together. Then I drive you to your meeting. After, we have lunch. Public place, wherever you choose. Tonight, we attend my father's dinner. As an actual couple, not strangers who happen to share a last name." Edioma's stomach tightened. Son Dae-hyun's dinners were legendary, equal parts power display and veiled threat. Attending as Ji-hoon's acknowledged wife, not just a contractual accessory, would be a public declaration. It would also paint a larger target on her back. "I'm ready," she said, lifting her chin. "But understand this. If we do this, if we really do this, There's no going back to how things were. You don't get to decide I'm an inconvenience later. I won't. His intensity was almost overwhelming. I've tried living without you for 3 years. It nearly killed me. I'm not making that mistake again. She wanted to believe him. God, she wanted to believe him. Okay, she said finally. Breakfast, meeting, lunch, dinner. Let's see how you do. His smile was slow and dangerous. Challenge accepted. If you're already rooting for Ji-hoon to prove himself today, smash that like button. Comment below. Do you think he'll actually follow through on treating her as an equal, or will old habits creep back in? And please, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss the moment a rival crashes their lunch and drops a bombshell offer. The restaurant Ji-hoon chose for lunch was upscale but understated. Dark wood, soft jazz. Tables spaced far enough apart for private conversations. Edioma recognized several faces as they entered. Mid-level players in Seoul's legitimate business world who quickly looked away when they saw her with Ji-hoon. Everyone's staring, she murmured as his hand settled protectively at the small of her back. Let them. His voice was calm. They need to understand how things are now. He pulled out her chair himself, a small gesture that somehow felt monumental. Son Ji-hoon didn't do acts of service. He commanded. He expected obedience. Watching him attend to her comfort with natural ease made her wonder what else he'd been hiding beneath that cold exterior. They'd barely settled when the atmosphere shifted. A hush fell over the room. Conversations dropped to whispers. Ji-hoon's posture changed subtly, spine straightening, hand finding hers under the table in silent warning. Then she saw him. The man approaching their table was younger than Ji-hoon, early 30s, perhaps, with the kind of calculated charisma that drew every eye. Handsome in a sharp, modern way. Tailored suit blending traditional Korean lines with Western edge, hair perfectly styled, smile pleasant but edged with steel. Son Ji-hoon, the man said, voice smooth and carrying just enough volume for nearby tables to hear. How fortuitous. I was hoping to run into you. Ji-hoon's grip on her hand tightened fractionally. Choi Min-jae. I wasn't aware you frequented this establishment. I don't usually. Min-jae's smile widened. But I heard you might be here with your wife. His gaze shifted to Edioma, and she felt stripped bare by the assessment in his eyes, intelligent, appraising, and unsettlingly thorough. Mrs. Sun, he said, inclining his head. I don't believe we've been formally introduced. Choi Min-jae, head of the Choi Group. I know who you are, Edioma replied carefully. The Choi Group was smaller than the Sun's, but rising fast. Progressive, ruthless, known for poaching talent and territory with surgical precision. Then you know I don't waste time on pleasantries. Min-jae pulled out the empty chair at their table and sat without invitation. Gasps rippled from nearby diners. I'll be direct, he continued. I'm here to make you an offer, Mrs. Sunday. Ji-hoon went dangerously still. You're making a mistake. Am I? Min-jae never took his eyes off Edioma. I don't think so. You see, I've been watching your situation. 3 years of a marriage that exists only on paper. A brilliant woman relegated to decorative status. Denied real power or agency. It's wasteful. Insulting, actually. Careful, Ji-hoon said, voice dropping to that lethal, quiet tone Edioma had heard him use right before violence. I'm always careful. It's why I'm still alive. Min-jae leaned back, utterly unconcerned. Mrs. Sun, Edioma, if I may, I'd like to present you with an alternative. She's not interested, Ji-hoon said flatly. I wasn't asking you. Min-jae's gaze flicked to Ji-hoon for the first time, temperature dropping. This is between me and your wife. Or have you forgotten she's a person capable of making her own decisions? Edioma felt Ji-hoon's hand trembling with restrained fury against hers. She should shut this down. Defend her husband. Declare loyalty. But something in Min-jae's words struck a chord she couldn't ignore. A person capable of making her own decisions. When was the last time anyone in her world had treated her like that? What kind of alternative? She heard herself ask. Ji-hoon's head whipped toward her, shock and something like betrayal flashing in his eyes. Min-jae smiled, triumphant. A formal contract buyout. I'll pay your father triple what the Sons originally paid for the marriage alliance. Your family's shipping routes would partner with my organization instead. And you, he paused for emphasis, would have an actual position of power. Chief Strategy Officer. Real authority. Real respect. Not a trophy displayed at dinners and forgotten the rest of the time. The offer hung in the air like a live grenade. You've lost your mind, Ji-hoon said, voice lethal. You think you can walk in here and try to buy my wife. I think I can offer her a better life than being ignored by a husband who's too afraid to treat her like a partner. Min-jae's attention returned to Edioma. I've done my research, Edioma. Oxford MBA. You've been running day-to-day operations at bead shipping for 2 years, yet your father still won't give you a real title because of traditional values. You're brilliant. Underutilized. Wasted in your current situation. That's enough. Ji-hoon started to rise, hand moving toward his jacket, toward the concealed weapon she knew he carried. No. Please sit down, Edioma said quietly. Ji-hoon froze, looking at her like she'd struck him. What? Please. She kept her voice steady even as her heart hammered. Let him finish. Edioma, you said this morning we're equals. Partners. Partners get to listen to job offers without their husbands threatening violence. She looked at Min-jae. You have 2 minutes. Then you leave. Min-jae's smile widened. See? This is exactly what I'm talking about. Intelligence. Composure. Leadership. He pulled a slim folder from his jacket and slid it across the table. Terms in writing. Triple the original dowry to your father. Full C-suite position with actual authority. Veto power over major strategic decisions. Seat on the board. Your name on the door, not hidden behind your husband's. In return, Edioma asked, not touching the folder. You divorce son Ji-hoon. Marry me. Bring your family's legitimate connections to the Choi Group. Within 5 years, I'll make you the most powerful woman in Seoul's business world. Not powerful because of who you married. Powerful because of what you can do. This is insane, Ji-hoon said, control visibly fraying. You're talking about dissolving a syndicate-sanctioned marriage alliance. That requires approval from both families. From the council. I've already secured tentative approval from the council. Min-jae interrupted smoothly. Pending the ladies' agreement, of course. Your father might object, but the council finds the precedent intriguing. A woman choosing her own path. Very modern. Very progressive. My father will never agree, Edioma said. Though even as she spoke, she wondered. Triple the dowry. Real power for his daughter. Godwin Bede was traditional, but he was also a businessman first. Your father indicated he'd be willing to discuss terms, Min-jae said, smile knowing. I approached him last week, hypothetically of course. He seemed very interested in the financial aspects. The floor seemed to drop out from under Edioma. Her father had been considering selling her to a higher bidder. After 3 years of marriage, Ji-hoon stood abruptly, chair scraping loudly. We're done here. Min-jae looked at Edioma. Because I believe that's your decision to make. Not his. The entire restaurant was watching now. No pretense of privacy. This wasn't just personal drama anymore. It was a very public challenge to son Ji-hoon's authority, and by extension, the Sun family's power. Edioma looked at the folder, then at Min-jae, then at Ji-hoon. Her husband's face was a mask of fury, and, beneath it, real, genuine fear that she might actually consider this. I need time to think, she said. You have 48 hours, Min-jae replied, standing smoothly. After that, the offer expires. I'll be in Seoul until then. He placed a business card on top of the folder. My private number. Call anytime, day or night, if you have questions, or if you've made your decision. He bowed slightly to Edioma, respectful, not mocking, then nodded once to Ji-hoon. I'll be seeing you Sunday, one way or another. Then he walked away, leaving chaos in his wake. The moment he was gone, Ji-hoon grabbed Edioma's arm, not hard, but firm, and pulled her to her feet. We're leaving. Now. Ji-hoon. Now. His tone left no room for argument. Edioma grabbed the folder before he could stop her. She saw his jaw clench, saw betrayal flash through his eyes, but he didn't try to take it. They walked out in tense silence, every eye following them. Ji-hoon's hand on her back was possessive, almost bruising, as he guided her to the waiting car. The moment the doors locked and the driver pulled away, Ji-hoon turned to her. Tell me you're not actually considering this, he said, voice low and dangerous. Tell me. Tell me why I shouldn't, she countered. Because you're my wife on paper, like I told you. Like you made very clear for 3 years. That was before. Before what? Before you got jealous? Before someone else saw my value. 3 years of frustration coming to the surface. His anger was rising now. Min-jae offered me in 2 minutes what you've never offered in 3 years. Respect. Power. Recognition. So yes, Ji-hoon, I'm considering it. You can't be serious. Why not? She held up the folder. He's offering everything I've wanted. Everything you were too afraid to give me. He's using you. And you haven't been? The words came out sharper than intended. At least he's honest about it. At least he's offering something in return. Ji-hoon looked like she'd physically struck him. For a long moment, he just stared at her, breathing heavy, hands clenched on the steering wheel. Is that really what you think? He asked finally, voice quiet. That I've just been using you? I don't know what to think anymore. Honest exhaustion laced her words. Yesterday you ignored me for 3 years. Today you want me to believe you've changed. Tomorrow Min-jae is offering me an empire. I'm drowning in whiplash. He's playing you. This is a power move against me, against my family. You're a pawn to everyone. I'm a pawn to him. To you, to my father, to everyone in this goddamn world. Her voice rose. The only difference is that Min-jae is at least offering to make me a queen while I'm at it. The car fell silent except for their breathing. Ji-hoon stared straight ahead, jaw working, knuckles white. What do you want me to say? He asked quietly. I want you to give me a reason to stay that has nothing to do with obligation or possession. I want you to tell me why I should choose you over an offer that would give me everything I've ever wanted professionally. Because I love you. The words dropped into the silence like stones into still water. Edioma's breath caught. What? Ji-hoon turned to look at her. For the first time since she'd known him, his expression was completely unguarded. Raw. Vulnerable. I love you, he repeated. I've loved you since our wedding day, when you looked at me like maybe I could be more than what I was raised to be. I've loved you through 3 years of watching you from a distance, of coming home just to know you were safe, of dying inside every time you looked at me like a stranger. I love you so much it terrifies me, which is why I pushed you away. And I know that's not an excuse. I know I hurt you. But if you want a reason to stay that has nothing to do with obligation or possession, it's that I love you. And I will spend the rest of my life proving it if you give me the chance. Tears burned Edioma's eyes. She'd waited 3 years to hear something like this. 3 years of hoping he might care, might see her, might want her for more than business. And now he was saying it. And she had another offer on the table that could give her everything else she'd ever wanted. I need time, she said, voice shaking. I need to think about this. How much time? I don't know. More than 48 hours. Then tell Min-jae to extend his deadline. Or what? You'll kill him. The question came out bitter. If I have to. His voice was flat. Honest. If that's what it takes to keep you, yes. That's not love, Ji-hoon. That's obsession. Maybe. But it's what I have. It's all I've ever had when it comes to you. He reached across the console, taking her hand. Don't make a decision today. Come to my father's dinner tonight. Let me show you what we could be. What I should have shown you from the beginning. Edioma looked down at their joined hands. Then at the folder in her lap. 2 futures. One with a man who'd hurt her, but claimed to love her. One with a man who saw her value, but admitted he'd use it. Okay, she said finally. I'll come to dinner. But Ji-hoon, after tonight, I'm making my decision. And you have to respect it. Whatever it is. And if you choose him, the pain in his voice nearly broke her. Then you let me go. Ji-hoon was quiet for a long moment. Then, with visible effort, okay, if that's what you choose, I'll let you go. It was the most obvious lie he'd ever told her. But it was also the most loving thing he'd ever said. If your heart just broke a little when Ji-hoon said he'd let her go, knowing he never could, hit like right now. Comment below. Should Edioma have spoken to Ji-hoon privately before even listening to Min-jae's full offer? Would you have walked out immediately? Subscribe because the dinner with son Dae-hyun is about to change everything, and you do not want to miss what the old man says when they're alone. The Sun family estate sat like a fortress carved into the hillside overlooking Seoul. High stone walls topped with discreet razor wire, armed guards at every entrance, cameras sweeping in silent arcs. Edioma had been here exactly 3 times in 3 years. Each visit had been choreographed. She played the silent, decorative wife, while Ji-hoon barely acknowledged her presence beyond the required arm-in-arm entrance. Tonight would be different. Ji-hoon's hand stayed firm in hers as they approached the main house. "Remember," he murmured, thumb tracing small circles on her palm. "My father respects strength. Don't let him intimidate you." "Like you did?" she asked softly. He tensed for a heartbeat, then relaxed. "Fair. But yes, like I did. Show him the woman who stood up to both me and Choi Min-jae today. He'll respect that." The folder for Min-jae sat heavy in her purse like a loaded pistol. She hadn't opened it yet, hadn't let herself read the fine print. But Ji-hoon knew she had it, knew she was carrying the alternative future right next to her lipstick and phone. Good. Let him feel the weight of it. They were met at the carved double doors by one of Dae-hyun's men, who led them through traditional corridors lined with ink paintings and antique celadon to a private dining room. Son Dae-hyun already sat at the head of the low lacquered table, silver hair gleaming under soft pendant lights, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. He looked up as they entered, gaze moving from Ji-hoon to Edioma with slow, deliberate assessment. "You're early," he said in crisp Korean. "We were eager to see you, father," Ji-hoon replied smoothly, also in Korean, his hand never leaving Edioma's back, possessive, protective. Dae-hyun's eyes settled fully on Edioma. "I hear you had an interesting lunch, daughter-in-law." So he already knew. Of course he did. In their world, information moved faster than money. "News travels quickly," Edioma said carefully. "In our world, information is currency." Dae-hyun gestured to the cushions across from him. "Sit. Let's discuss this development." They knelt on opposite sides of the table. Ji-hoon's tension radiated beside her like heat from a live wire. Dae-hyun poured tea with ritual precision, giving himself time to observe them both. "Choi Min-jae," Dae-hyun said finally. "Ambitious, clever, dangerous in his own way. Did you know his father tried to form an alliance with us 15 years ago? I refused," he continued without waiting for an answer. "The choice weren't substantial enough then. And now?" Edioma asked. "Now they're worth considering, not as equals, but as useful assets." Dae-hyun took a measured sip. "His offer to you, though that was bold. Unprecedented, actually. It was insulting," Ji-hoon said tightly. "Was it?" Dae-hyun looked at his son. "Or was it simply good business?" He identified an underutilized resource and made a competitive offer. "Basic economics." "She's my wife," Ji-hoon said. "Not a resource. In this world, everyone is a resource. You know this. I taught you this." Dae-hyun turned back to Edioma. "The question is whether you're a resource that's being properly valued. So tell me, daughter-in-law, are you?" The question landed like a challenge. Edioma felt Ji-hoon about to speak. She cut him off. "No," she said clearly. "I haven't been. I have an Oxford MBA. I've run day-to-day operations for a multi-billion-dollar shipping company for 2 years. And for 3 years, I've been treated like a decorative piece of furniture whose only value is the alliance she represents." Dae-hyun's eyebrows rose fractionally, surprise, maybe even respect. "And Choi's offer changes that. Choi's offer recognizes that I have value beyond my last name, that I'm capable of more than being a trophy wife." Dae-hyun set down his teacup with a soft click. "Ji-hoon, leave us." "Father." "Leave. I want to speak with your wife alone." Ji-hoon looked torn between obedience and protection. After a tense moment, he stood. "I'll be right outside. I'm aware of where you'll be. Close the door behind you." The sliding door whispered shut. Alone with the old man, Dae-hyun's demeanor shifted subtly. Less patriarch, more strategist. "My son is afraid of you," he said. Edioma blinked. "Excuse me." "He's terrified. Has been since your wedding. I saw it in his eyes then. I see it now. Do you know why?" She shook her head. "Because you make him feel real emotions, not the calculated responses I trained into him. Love, want, need. All the things that get men like us killed." Dae-hyun's smile was sharp. I spent 25 years teaching Ji-hoon to be cold, controlled, untouchable. Then you walked into his life and undid all of it in one ceremony. He did a good job hiding it, Edioma said bitterly. Did he? Dae-hyun poured more tea. Or did you just not know what to look for? My son comes home every night at midnight. Do you know what he does before he goes to his room? She shook her head again. He checks your door. Makes sure it's locked from the inside, which means you're safe. Then he stands there for exactly 3 minutes before forcing himself to walk away. He's done this every single night for 3 years. I know because I had him watched. I wanted to understand why my perfectly trained heir was developing a weakness. The words hit like a physical blow. Ji-hoon had mentioned checking on her, but not this ritual. 3 minutes. Every night. For 3 years. Why are you telling me this? She asked. Because Choi Min-jae isn't wrong. You are underutilized. You are worth more than you've been given. And if my son is too stupid to see that, perhaps you should take the better offer. Edioma stared. You want me to leave? I want you to make an informed decision. If you stay with Ji-hoon, it will be hard. Dangerous. You'll be a target because of how much he cares about you. Every enemy we have will try to use you against him. Is that really what you want? And if I go with Min-jae? Then you'll have power. Yes. But you'll always know you were purchased. That your value was calculated and paid for. You'll wonder if he actually sees you, or just sees what you can do for him. Dae-hyun's eyes were sharp. There's no perfect choice here, daughter-in-law. Only 2 different kinds of prison. The question is which one you can live with. That's bleak. That's reality. In our world, women have limited options. You can be loved and protected, but powerless. Or you can have power, but always wonder if you're valued for yourself or for what you bring to the table. He paused. Although, there might be a third option. Edioma waited. Stay with Ji-hoon, but demand what you want. Real power. Real position. I could give you a seat on our board. Make you head of all legitimate operations. Full authority. You'd have actual respect, and a husband who worships the ground you walk on, even if he doesn't show it well. Her heart raced. You do that. If it keeps my son from becoming a murderous lunatic when you leave him, yes. Ji-hoon is my heir. I need him focused. Functional. If giving you power is what it takes to keep him that way, it's a small price. So this is still about using me to control him. Of course it is. I'm not offering out of the goodness of my heart. Dae-hyun's smile was sharp. But the outcome is the same. You get power, respect, and a husband who loves you. Does it matter what my motivations are? Before she could answer, the door slid open. Ji-hoon stood there, face taut with worry. Is everything? Your wife and I were just discussing her future, Dae-hyun said calmly. I've made her an offer. Head of legitimate operations. Seat on the board. Full authority over all non-syndicate business. What do you think? Ji-hoon's eyes went wide. Father, do you object? No, I don't object. If that's what Edioma wants. It is, Edioma said, surprising herself with how steady her voice sounded. But I have conditions. Both men looked at her. I want it in writing. A formal contract, not verbal. I want veto power over any decisions affecting legitimate businesses. I want my name on everything. No more hiding behind the son name. And I want my own office at headquarters. Not sharing with my husband. My own space. Dae-hyun's smile widened. Genuine delight this time. Done. I'll have contracts drawn up by tomorrow. And one more thing, Edioma said, looking directly at Ji-hoon. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing this for me, because I'm tired of being powerless, and this is the best offer I'm going to get. But you and I still need to have a serious conversation about what our marriage actually means going forward. Whatever you need, Ji-hoon said immediately. Tomorrow, when we're alone. For now. She looked at Dae-hyun. Shall we have dinner? I believe you were going to feed us. Dae-hyun laughed. A rare, genuine sound. I think I'm going to enjoy having you in the organization, daughter-in-law. You've got spine. That's rare. As they settled in for dinner, Edioma's phone buzzed discreetly. She glanced down. Choi Min-jae, are you sure? The offer stands if you change your mind. She deleted the message without replying. But she didn't delete his number. Not yet. If you're cheering because Edioma just claimed real power in front of the most dangerous man in Seoul, hit like right now. Comment below. Do you think she made the right choice by staying and demanding more, or should she have taken Min-jae's offer for complete independence? Subscribe because the ride home is about to get intense, and the rules they set for their marriage will either save them or break them. The penthouse felt different when they returned. Or maybe Edioma felt different. Her new position settled over her like armor. She was no longer just Sun Ji-hoon's wife. She was head of legitimate operations for Sun Industries. The thought was exhilarating, terrifying, real. Ji-hoon had been quiet on the drive home, stealing glances at her. Now, in the privacy of their living room, he finally spoke. "Thank you," he said, "for staying, for choosing us." He poured himself a whiskey, then one for her without asking, even if it was the better offer. "Fair," she said, accepting the glass. "But we haven't actually solved anything. You said you love me. Fine. But love isn't enough, Ji-hoon. I need to know you see me as an equal partner, not a possession you manage to keep. I do see you as an equal. Do you?" She set her glass down. "Because this morning, when Min-jae showed up, your first instinct was to threaten him, not to trust me to handle it. When I said I needed to think about his offer, you looked at me like I'd betrayed you. That's not how you treat an equal." Ji-hoon was quiet for a long moment. She could see him struggling with the truth of her words. "You're right," he said finally. "I'm not good at this. I've spent my whole life being trained to control, to dominate, to own. Letting go of that, trusting someone else to make decisions that affect me, it goes against everything I was taught." "Then unlearn it," she said firmly. "Because I'm not going to spend the rest of my life fighting to be respected by my own husband. If we're doing this, really doing this, then we need rules. Clear boundaries about what our marriage actually is." "Okay." He moved to the bar, pouring another finger of whiskey. "What do you want first? You don't make decisions about my career without consulting me. Not my position, not my schedule, nothing. My professional life is mine." "Agreed." "Second, you don't threaten people I'm talking to just because you're jealous. If someone is actually dangerous, tell me why. But you don't get to scare off every man who looks at me." His jaw tightened, but he nodded. "Agreed. Though for the record, I don't like it." "You don't have to like it. Just respect it." She counted on her fingers. "Third, we make major life decisions together. Where we live, if and when we have children, how we handle family obligations. All of it is discussion, not decree. Of course. Fourth, you tell me the truth about your work, about the dangers, about everything. I'm part of this world now, really part of it, not adjacent. I need to know what I'm dealing with." Ji-hoon hesitated on this one. "Some things are better if you don't know." "No. Either you trust me as a partner or you don't." Another long pause. "Then, I trust you. You'll know everything I can share." "Good." She took a breath. "Fifth, and this is important, you don't use your father or the organization to control me. What happened tonight? Your father offering me a position to keep you stable. That can't be how this works going forward. My career has to be based on my merit, not on managing you." "It is based on your merit," he said immediately. "My father doesn't offer positions to incompetent people, no matter the reason. If he's giving you authority, it's because he believes you can handle it. And if you fail, then we all fail. But you won't." His faith was absolute. Something warm bloomed in her chest. "Okay, those are my terms. Do you accept them?" "Yes." He set down his drink and moved toward her. "I have one to add." "What is it?" "When you're upset with me, talk to me instead of disappearing. When you're considering offers from rival syndicate leaders, tell me before I find out in a public restaurant." He reached for her hand. "Communication goes both ways. If I'm going to trust you, I need you to trust me too." It was fair. She had been so focused on her own hurt that she hadn't considered how her silence, her dating, her acceptance of Min-jae's audience might have looked from his side. "Okay," she said. "I can do that. Anything else?" "Yes. One more thing." He pulled her close, forehead resting against hers. "Let me court you properly this time. Dates, flowers, all the things I should have done from the beginning. Let me show you that this isn't just about possession or control, that I actually know how to be a partner." Edioma's heart stuttered. "You want to date your own wife?" "I want to date you. Get to know you without the walls we've both been hiding behind. Fall in love with you all over again, but correctly this time." His hand cupped her face. We got everything backward. Let me fix it. It was perhaps the most romantic thing anyone had ever said to her. And coming from Sun Ji-hoon, cold, controlled Sun Ji-hoon, it felt like a revelation. Okay, she whispered. Court me. But Ji-hoon, I'm not going to make it easy. Good. His smile was slow and devastating. I don't want easy. I want you. He kissed her then, soft and sweet, and Edioma felt herself melting into it. This was different from the desperate kisses of the night before. This was a promise. A beginning. When they pulled apart, Ji-hoon's eyes were warm. So, first official date. When? Tomorrow night. Somewhere I choose. And you don't get to take over the planning. Deal. He paused. Where? That's for me to know and you to find out. Edioma smiled. Pick me up at 7. Wear something nice. I always wear something nice. Wear something nicer. Ji-hoon laughed. A real, genuine laugh that transformed his face. And Edioma felt her breath catch. This was the man she'd glimpsed at their wedding. The one buried under years of training and fear. I should warn you, he said, hand finding hers again. I'm not good at this. Romance. Relationships. Normal couple things. I'm probably going to mess up. A lot. I'm not good at it either, she agreed. We'll figure it out together. Together, Ji-hoon repeated, testing the word like it was new. Get used to it. It's going to be our new normal. As they headed toward bed, Edioma felt something she hadn't felt in 3 years. Hope. Real, genuine hope that maybe this could work. That maybe they could build something real from the ruins of their arranged marriage. Her phone buzzed one more time as she was getting ready for bed. She glanced at it, expecting another message from Min-jae. Instead, it was from her father. I hear you've accepted a position with Sun Industries. Well done. Let's have lunch this week to discuss your new responsibilities. No mention of Min-jae's offer. No acknowledgement that he'd been willing to consider selling her to the highest bidder. Just business as usual. Edioma deleted the message and turned off her phone. Tomorrow was a new beginning. She refused to let her father's mercenary attitude ruin it. Ji-hoon was already in bed, reading something on his tablet. He looked up when she approached, eyes tracking her movement with barely concealed hunger. Come here, he said softly. She climbed in beside him, letting him pull her close. His warmth surrounded her, solid, real, and finally hers. If this moment of hope after 3 years of pain made your heart swell, give this video a massive like. Comment below. What do you think their first real date will look like? And will Ji-hoon actually let her plan it without taking over? Subscribe right now because tomorrow's date is going to rewrite their entire history, and then everything gets complicated again.